Today I'm going to share with you 9 stretches that you can do with a yoga strap that will help you improve your flexibility. I'm Shannon Codwell, founder of Purple Lotus Yoga, where I help women of all ages and sizes become standout yoga teachers. For the best tips and advice on teaching yoga and deepening your own practice, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get my latest uploads. The first stretch that we're going to look at using a yoga strap is going to be stretches that target the hamstrings. Those are the muscles on the back of your legs. Now I've just got a basic cotton woven strap, and if you want to know more about straps, where they come from, the different types that are available, what might work for you, be sure to check out my blog on this mighty yoga prop, the yoga strap. So the first posture we're going to look at is a seated forward bend. The most common thing that you're going to see new people or participants or people who have not great range of motion in the back of the legs, you're going to see them trying to overstretch toward their toes, and they're probably going to round and hunch in their back in order to reach down toward their toes. Touching their toes isn't the important part. We just want to make sure that we're creating a shape that can allow people to get a nice stretch on the back side of those legs. That's where I'm going to bring in the strap, which is going to magically make my arms longer, and therefore I'm going to be straining less to try to reach forward toward my toes. So I'm going to loop it around the soles of my feet, and just like that, I've gone from T-Rex arms to nice long arms that allow me to sit up nice and tall. And with that nice flat back, I'm going to tug, I'm going to gently pull forward until I feel an intensity in that stretch. And with each of these postures, I recommend holding them for several breaths, 5 to 6. If we can't get straight legs even with this strap, it's okay to keep those knees bent. Another really popular posture that gives a really great stretch on the back of the legs is reclined big toe. So I'm going to go ahead and get onto my back on the mat. A common thing that you will see with participants is a really bent knee, hunching to reach up to that foot, and maybe even hanging off that foot, which can create a lot of problems in the shoulder and the back of their necks. So instead, I'm going to loop the strap around my foot, and just like that, I can keep my back relaxed onto the mat. I can keep the other leg bent, or I can straighten it out if I'm up for a little bit more intensity. Even if you're using the strap and you can't get that leg perfectly straight, it doesn't matter. You can keep a slight bend in the knee and still feel a really great stretch. Make sure to do both sides. The next posture that we're going to look at is a balance. Not only are we going to be focusing on stretching the hamstrings, but now we're adding an additional challenge in there by bringing in a balance. And this is where you will see a lot of people wobble and fall out of the posture. So if an individual needs to use the wall for balance, or bring in a chair that they can have one hand resting on, just to give them a little additional stability, let them do that. Just like the previous hamstring stretches, a lot of times what you will see with people as they're trying to hold on to their knee or their toe, they're hunching over it, or they're over it, reaching, straining, trying to get their hands to their feet. So we're going to use that strap again to magically lengthen our arms and take away that straining and overstretching. I'm going to loop my strap around the sole of my foot, and then I'm just going to gently, we can start just coming knee to chest. We're going to hold this end in each hand, or you can hold both ends in one hand. Maybe have this other arm out for additional balance. And then we start to take that leg out, coming into our big toe stretch. Hasta Padangusthasana. And because it's a balance, we want to make sure that we get that done on the other side. Looping under the foot, 2 hands or 1, it's up to you. A little additional balance if we need it. Start with that knee bending and lifting, and then as they feel balanced, they can begin to take that leg out in front. Now let's look at some shoulder stretches that we can do with the strap. The first one is an excellent one. I recommend everyone do this one, especially if you spend any time at all sitting at your desk behind a computer. So I'm going to call these shoulder rotations, and it's just about stretching through the shoulders, opening up across that chest. So I'm going to start with the strap in my hands. You can loop it or just hold the strap. It's up to you. Okay? I'm going to start down in front, and I'm going to need my hands a little bit more than hips width distance. And I'm going to bring it up and overhead, and then I'm going to let my arms go back behind, up, and in front, up, and back, up, and in front, and up, and behind. The next shoulder stretch is going to be Yoga Mudra. That is where you take a forward fold and you clasp your hands behind your back and try to lift them off. But for a lot of people, myself included, it is a struggle to bring those hands close enough to get the fingers interlocked. So again, that's where our strap is going to help extend our arms, help us get closer to clasping. Okay? So I've got my strap here, and I'm just going to take a forward fold. And now I can much easier lift up and feel that stretch with very little strain or overexertion, trying to get my fingers clasped and trying to get them lifted off of my hips just so I can go into that forward fold. These next 3 are kind of fun postures that you wouldn't normally consider using a strap with, but they always add an element of being able to stretch a little deeper, do something a little bit different within that posture, because we do these all the time, and that's our warrior positions. So let's look at warrior 1. I've got my strap, and I can hold it between my hands, and I can bring it up and overhead. So just like those shoulder rotations that we did, we can add that on here. Or we can also do a Yoga Mudra variation here in our warrior 1. Or just simply extending overhead and having something to hold there might help keep you steadier. From our warrior 1, I'm going to open up into warrior 2. And I'm just going to let my hands slide along my strap. So this is going to help me keep my arms level. But I've also got a little bit of something here to kind of hold on to, because it's very common for arms to get tired in this warrior 2 extended arm position. And warrior 3, which we all know is a balance posture like we did with our standing big toe balance. This one is, again, a fun one to do with the strap, because we wouldn't usually think about using the strap with warrior 3. But it's also a great way to bring in some additional support or stability if people really struggle maintaining their balance. All right, we've got a couple of ways to use the strap in warrior 3. If you want to do it one-handed, we're going to loop the strap around the sole of your foot, And then we're going to lift using clasping both ends in one hand. And then we're just going to slowly start to push and lift. So I'm going to lift and push against that strap at the same time. That's one way. The second way is going to require just a tiny bit of maneuvering. So I'm going to have one strap on the outside, and the other end of the strap, I'm going to loop it through and grab it behind my back with my other hand. That way, as I begin to hinge forward, my hands will be resting on my butt as I lift it up and begin to hinge forward. The last fun stretch that I'm going to show you using a strap is going to help stretch the hip area, and that's going to be reclined pigeon. A lot of people struggle because they just can't quite grip or get a clasp of the leg in reclined. So the strap is going to help that tremendously. On your mat, I'm going to loop it around my foot. This leg is going to stay extended, and then I'm going to cross my ankle onto my knee, and I'm going to use, so I'm going to bend that leg, and I'm going to use the straps to just gently press back until I feel that stretch in the hip area of the leg that's crossed. Then when I'm ready to switch sides, I'm just going to release, switch my feet, cross the ankle, and again, gently use the ends of the strap and my hands to pull back so you feel that stretch. Those are my 9 stretches using the yoga strap. Do you have a favorite stretch that you like to do with the yoga strap? Share it with me in the comments below.